Hey everyone, I'm Tom and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be wrapping up the shortest month of the year, February. And even though it was the shortest month of the year, I had a lot of really fun stuff happen from the reading front to some in real life, some personal stuff that happened this month that I'll be sharing with you. That was all a lot of exciting stuff and everything. So let's go ahead, jump right into what I read, and we'll be going in the order I read them, or finished them, I guess, technically. And first up, we have got to talk about Midnight Tides by Stephen Erickson. This is my journey back into Malazan, and I did make a whole video on this. So if you want some more thoughts, I won't belabor it too much here. But if you want my full thoughts, I made a video specifically just on this book, and it was a once again mixed bag for me. It was a 2-star read with me, which I'll make my annual video soon, again going over what my rating system means and how I do it and everything. But 2-star means I didn't really enjoy my time with it, and there were points where I was having a good time. Maybe the first half of this book, I think I enjoyed a decent amount. And then I just kind of got to the point where I didn't care anymore. With all that being said, I'm still eager to go on. I think Bone Hunters, I think I said this about Midnight Tides, but it really seems like Bone Hunters might be the make or break it. I've had a lot of people tell me that because I really like, especially Memories of Ice and Gardens of the Moon, that Bone Hunters is maybe a little bit more akin to that than some of the other stuff. And so I think Bone Hunters will be the deciding force. I don't know when I'll get to it. It'll probably be much later this year. I'm not like in a rush to get back to it. One thing I always told myself is I will always be in the mood for this series when I want to read it. I'm not going to force myself. And so I need a break from it. We'll see. I know last time I took I think it was 10 months in between books. Maybe that's not the best thing to do. I'm sure some people will say it's better to read it closer together. There's probably, people are going to be all over the place as far as that stuff goes, which is fine. I'd like to hear those opinions. I like to see what people have to say, because I had some people say that maybe I should just stop at this point. But I had enough people tell me that they think Bone Hunters will kind of be the deciding factor. And if I don't enjoy Bone Hunters, there's probably nothing that happens in those last couple of books that I'll really enjoy. And it's funny because I'm going to read Bone Hunters. And if I read Bone Hunters, it's like, do I stop with only a couple books left? I think if I were hating my time, I would say yes. But because there's still like hints of stuff I like in it, I don't know. We'll see. It really does seem like Bone Hunters will be the deciding factor there. And so, yeah, I'm a little disappointed, I guess. I was hoping that this one was really going to, I don't know if even change my opinion on Malazan, because I still have a really high opinion of it. This is like one of those great examples of I'm not really enjoying it, but man, can I understand why this works so well for so many people. Or I don't even know for so many people, but like I can see the merit. I can see like there's so much in it that I can see that if it clicks for you, man, this is exactly what you're going to want. And it is, I guess, kind of unlike anything else. Unfortunately, it's just not clicking for me, which is fine. I mean, not everything is going to be for everybody. And so I don't know. That's just kind of where I'm at on it. So Bone Hunters at some point later this year, maybe, I guess maybe this year. I would like to, but we'll see how the rest of the reading year goes and how other things happen and everything. But yeah, so that was Midnight Tides, a 2-star read for me, but not a bad book. And I do want to just like say that again. It's not a bad book. If somebody told me this was their favorite book of all time, I would understand. Like I really would, which I think is just another thing that makes me so intrigued in this series of like, I get it, but I just don't care. Or not even that I don't care. It's just like, it doesn't click for me the way it's clicking for other people. And I think that is totally fine. But next up, we have my first nonfiction read of the year. And I say that because after reading this one, I think I'm going to probably read at least 1 or 2 more throughout the year. We'll see. I didn't say the same thing last year, but I only read one last year, and I kind of knocked it out early as well. So we'll see what happens. But that was Hannibal by Philip Freeman, who is actually the author I read last year. I read Julius Caesar by him last year, and this is about Hannibal from Carthage, who went on a campaign against Rome, and I learned so much in this book. This was a time period that I knew nothing about, a historical figure that I knew nothing about, and just it was one of those ones where this is also super short, which I think really benefited me as somebody who didn't really have a whole lot of like knowledge about this time period. It was very cool to read and just learn about all these things that happened. And it spans like a pretty decent amount of time. It's not something that happened in a few years. This was decades of his life, and just a bunch of stuff about him. This is the war elephant person. So if you see that brought up in history, this is from Carthage, and they use the war elephants and just all kinds of things in his campaign, and just like his tenacity, his bravado, really, of just like maybe not even doing. I mean, he was a brilliant military mind, but like sometimes it was really just like taking these risks and if they hadn't worked, we probably wouldn't think about him. We probably wouldn't talk about him the same way. But because it did work out, I find that, we do talk about him, and I find that really interesting when we could talk about some of these historical figures, right? How many of them would be lost in the sands of time if some of their crazy risk taking, they caught a bad like thunderstorm and the ground was too muddy and they all got trapped somewhere and they couldn't make it out and they all died, versus that didn't happen, they made it out and they were able to. I find those very small what ifs to be really fascinating, and this was a great book to read if you're somebody who like wants to get into some of this. This is a great place to start. Like I said, this was a character, or not a character, a historical figure. I want to say it that way. That, like I said, knew really nothing about outside of the name. And obviously, I think the name is even more famous because of Hannibal Lecter from Silence of the Lambs and all of that. And so it was really fun to go ahead and try that out. I had a great time with it. Great recommendation from It's Lit Book Reviews. They read a lot of fiction or historical, not historical fiction, just history, and this was in one of their videos to recommend like this to newer readers, and great recommendation. Had a fantastic time with it. And then actually we'll talk about Conan first, because if you don't know, I'm slowly reading one Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Cimmerian story a week. There's a bunch of us reading it. I know Jake from Nerd Level Rising, Chance Dillon's reading it, Shay from Zachary Shay's reading it, I'm reading it. There's probably more that I'm forgetting. I think Christopher Navo is reading it. A lot of this is happening in our Discord that is linked down in the description. There's a thread for it where we're talking about it and giving our thoughts as we go through one story a week, which is really nice because one, they're all standalone, so you don't have to go back if you want to read with us. You don't have to go all the way back and start over. You can if you want to. They're super short. They're all about, I don't know, between 20 and 40 pages probably, so not super hard to catch up with, but because they're all standalone, you can just jump in with whatever one we're reading that week, and it has been a fantastic time reading it. So this month we read The Scarlet Citadel, Queen of the Black Coast, Black Colossus, and technically I'm going to read it after I film this video, is Iron Shadow, which I normally read these on Sunday. Today is Sunday as I record this, so that's normally the one that I do that day. So those will be the 4 that I'll have read for February, and yeah, they have been surprisingly good. And I mean that I went in just kind of expecting it to be fine. They're significantly older. I think written between like 1930 and 1934 or something like that. So I didn't know what to expect. I have read some stuff from that time period and it had been fine, but it wasn't anything amazing. There are definitely elements of it being written in that time, but overall it has just been so much fun to go in. You just pop into these little stories, have it told to you, and you're out, and it's just like great. There's parts of it that I'm blown away by, and there's this like something I was really surprised in. There's this like horror aspect to some of these stories, and I was not ready for it at all. And I think that's been some of the best. I think the Black Colossus is probably my favorite of them overall. Like if I was going to recommend one, it would probably be that. Queen of the Black Coast is also really good. This month has been awesome for these Conan stories, so really looking forward, and I'll continue to read those as we go through. And then we have got to get to the big one. This book took me significantly longer to read than I thought it was going to, which is fine. I just did not budget my time properly, and that happens with the shortest month of the year. But that is going to be Peril's Gate by Janny Wurts, book 6 of the Wars of Light and Shadow series, and this was fantastic. This is my new favorite of the series. It's crazy to say this, but because her writing has been fantastic since book 1, everything just felt like a step up from the previous stuff, which is such an insane thing to say. If you have read any of Janny Wurts' work, you'll know how polished of a writer she is, how well her stories are crafted, and I don't know if it's because so much of that has been building and building and building, and a lot of it pays off here, and just, I don't know, there's just so much about this book that works so well. Obviously, I can't spoil it because, book 6, there is going to be a live discussion on my channel. It should be March 7th at, I believe we're doing it 2 p.m. EST. So check the channel for that. I'll have updates and stuff for that as we get a little bit closer. But this book itself was fantastic. There are elements in here of characters mirroring each other in different ways, different things happening that have similar results. Just so much heart and longing and loving and compassion and just like people caring for one another and just suffering and just like all of the things that you could want in a book are in here. It's fantastic. I don't know what else I could say at this point. If you haven't wanted to read the series or anything, that is going to make you want to read it, other than just saying it is a masterwork. It's not going to be the easiest thing you've ever read. It's going to ask a decent amount of you as a reader. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think, that's what the story, wants from you. And it's so rewarding to do it. This is a series that is rich in so much, and it's just been great. And I'm so excited to continue on. I'm really starting to, I think, really hit my stride with the series, which is funny to say this deep into it. But if you've read it, you understand, I think. And if you haven't, you will as soon as you do it. Yeah, and so this is fantastic. Book of the month. It makes me wonder, is like, man, does the series... So the only book that I think every book I've read up until the previous book, it had been my favorite. And now book 6 is now again my favorite. So that just kind of shows you this upward trajectory. And that doesn't mean that book 5 was bad. Book 5 was still very, very good. I just like book 4 a little bit more than book 5. But now book 6, I mean, it's all fantastic. It's all been so good. And this is one of those true like epic. Like I'm obviously Malazan was mentioned in this video, but like that's another true epic, but it's a different kind of epic. Malazan is sprawled. You get not that you don't get a bunch of different characters in this series as well, but like we're talking different continents, different people, different cultures, just all kinds of different things. And it's not that there's not different characters and stuff here, but this is a much more intimate story between two brothers and their journey that they're going on. And then we bring in other characters into that fold. And it has just been, I mean, fantastic. I will say this was a very long book. I wish I had budgeted another week to read it probably. I definitely had to like really focus and buckle down to read it in my self-imposed deadline, which is dumb. But man, it was so good and it was so worth it. I would try to like keep reading more, and then I'd have to like stop myself and be like, no, you're too tired. You want to be able to focus. You want to be able to consume this in its totality the way that you normally can do it. And I'd have to force myself to stop. That's how good it was. Absolutely fantastic. Janny, once again, knocking it out of the park here with Peril's Gate. Now let's continue on to comics and manga, which is super easy because I didn't read any in February. It was one of those things where, with it being the shortest month of the year and me not budgeting my time as well as I should have, between this and I guess also Onyx Storm. I read about half of Onyx Storm, but we'll talk about, I'll count that in the March wrap up when we get there. Did not read any of that, which is sad because I have stuff lined up that I would really like to read. But I did watch stuff, and that's probably where some of my reading time went that I didn't think about at the time because there was so much stuff coming out in February. The Pit, about halfway through the season at this point. If you're not watching The Pit, super bingeable TV show. It is so good. It is so fantastic. The acting, the storylines, the characters, everything about it. The Pit is top tier television, one of the best television shows I've ever watched, and it's only 1.5 seasons in. Season 1, the fact that you can binge it, I'm jealous that you can go back and just binge it all the way through. Because that's how I did it actually for season 1. It was all out, or maybe the last episode wasn't out yet when I binged it, and man, it destroyed my sleep schedule. I mean, I was staying up super late in the night to watch episodes and everything. So The Pit has been fantastic, continues to be fantastic. Sticking with HBO, we have to talk about A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I love that show as well. I think and I'll say this, I liked House of the Dragon, all of it, even the season that people for some reason didn't like as much. And I'm still a little confused. I understand that maybe some things are changing, but it's still been good. And I think that's probably my distinction of, if you're going to make an adaptation and you're going to make changes and it's bad, what's the point of making it? If you're making an adaptation and you make changes and it's still good, I'm fine. I can be more fine with those changes. Doesn't mean everything is going to be okay. But for A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, it's been, I don't know, a couple years since I read those short stories. But those two actors, really, not even just those two, Egg and the Dunk actor are fantastic. The guy who plays Lionel Baratheon, also fantastic. The casting so much was great. The story it's lighthearted, funny, but endearing and caring, and just all these different things that you want from a television show. I know some people probably aren't going to like that it's only half-hour long episodes. To me, I think that works better. I don't need everything to be 90 minutes of the most serious television I've ever watched. Like, it's okay to just have fun and be a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit more low key. And that's what I think you get out of Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I had a great time with it. My fiance also had a great time with it. So it's been really good. And I can't wait for season 2, which, I'm assuming because it doesn't need all of this extra CGI and everything like House of the Dragons, we can get it in 2027. That'd be great. Or, if not, that would be sad, but I did see something that they want to maybe do like a lot of seasons of this, and I think that would work great because you can have them just going different places to places. You don't need anything like super crazy over the top. You can just kind of have these one-off little stories that, just like the novellas are, that you can have. Now we know where the ending point of this story is, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing because it means we have that guiding light, that northern light that we can still get to for the show. And I'm super excited for all of that. I'm also watching Better Call Saul, not watching it super, super fast. I love Breaking Bad, probably my favorite TV show of all time. It would definitely be up there, but I never went and watched Better Call Saul, so I've been slowly, I mean, we're talking maybe 15 minutes every other day, if that. Like that would maybe be a little bit of an exaggeration, but it has been super good. I know some people hold it up there just as good as Breaking Bad and everything, so I'm almost done with season 1. I think I'm on episode 9, and I think there's 10. So I'm on the penultimate episode of Better Call Saul. Super late to that one, but I'm excited to continue for that one. And then the only other thing I'm watching right now, it is a little bit of anime. I'm watching when I do cardio, normally on Thursdays, because my cardio on Thursday is just like a walk. And so it's easy to watch something. And this is a very old show. It's not even good, but I'm watching it really just for nostalgia sake to see how much I remember of it and just like all the funny things that happen in it. And that is, I think I mentioned this last month as well, but Mobile Fighter G Gundam. It's on Crunchyroll if you're interested. This was I think, they showed it on Toonami, back in the day or something. So I think that's the one. I don't know. I was a kid when I remember seeing it, but this one I think is the one I was thinking of at the time. And the only other thing I want to mention, I said, some fun life stuff happened for me in February, and that is I competed in another strongman competition, and I was I don't want to say lucky enough, but I won. I think there were 7 of us in my weight class, and I did come out with the win on that one, which is really cool. It qualifies me for Strongman Core Nationals, which is awesome. I don't know if I'll do it or not. From what I can tell, they're going to be in Texas. Not 100% sure when. Don't know what the events are, which will probably be the deciding factor. If the events are something I'm interested in, I'll probably do it. And I don't know. I keep telling myself we'll wait and see, but I think it would be cool to do nationals and like compete at the highest amateur level, and then maybe after that see, depending on how national goes, maybe do pro-ams. If I don't think I would win nationals. I think I have weaknesses that would prevent that from happening, but it would still be a cool thing to do. And yeah, just another goal on training. It's a funny thing. I have like a crazy sweet tooth and all this stuff, and yet I train super hard for all this stuff and force myself to eat better so I can train and lift big rocks, basically. That's one of my favorite things to do, is just like pick up these big rocks, and always have a lot of fun doing it. It's funny because today, actually, as I record this, is my 3-year anniversary of making booktube videos. And one of the first things that happened when I was in my first year of booktube is I competed in my first competition and won. And it's funny, a little bit of a full circle moment to come back and do another one and win and qualify for nationals and everything. So yeah, that has been the fun stuff for me. I would love to hear how your month of February went. Obviously, short month. I know maybe you didn't get to read as much, but always like to see what you're reading, what you're watching, what you're doing, playing, all that fun stuff down below in the comments or in the Discord that is linked in the description. But that is going to be all for me. And remember to read what you want when you want.